Hello everyone, Sef Alchemist here. Thank you very much for tuning in. I truly appreciate it. And today I have a question for you. Why do you watch tarot readings? Why do you believe in tarot? I want you to write it in the comment section. Why do you think these tarot readings resonate with you? At the end of the day, they're just cards. So why do you think that cards can help you in your life? So I want you to pause the video and think of an answer, and then write it down in the comment section if you want to, if you feel like it. And then I'm going to tell you why tarot resonates with so many people around the world, and then you can compare your answers. The reason why tarot speaks to a lot of people is because it holds real ancient magic. Magic and knowledge that has been passed down from ancient Egypt and from Atlantis as well. It's connected to alchemy, to Hermeticism, and it embodies the journey that each one of us is supposed to walk on in order to find in who you are, to find in your true essence, your true soul, your gifts and abilities, and eventually reach in your philosopher's stone. That's why tarot speaks to a lot of people. It's not by chance or coincidence that millions of people watch tarot readings around the world. But this is not a game. The knowledge was camouflaged inside a game, yes. At first it was just a card game. People in medieval time, they had to hide the knowledge from the church because the inquisitors and the church was torturing and killing anyone who taught, read, or learned something other than the Bible, something other than the word of the Christian God. So the church was killing left and right anyone who was learning anything else, be it alchemy, witchcraft, tarot, paganism. And tarot embodies knowledge that stems from ancient Egypt, from ancient times. And this knowledge cannot be lost because humanity needs to benefit from it. So what some masters of medieval time and some alchemists and hermeticists, what they did, they encoded a card game with knowledge, with wisdom, and they called it tarot. Maybe it had different names back then, but that's how we know it nowadays. We know it as tarot. So they encoded these cards with imagery, with symbols, with allegories in image form, so that the church and the Inquisition doesn't have a clue. When they see people playing with the cards, they think it's just a game, that it doesn't have harm. People claim that they're Christians, but they're learning ancient wisdom and knowledge through the cards. That way, the inquisitors, they don't torture and kill them. And it survived. The reason why it survived is because it was embedded inside art. And art lives forever. It's imagery, it's drawings, it's symbols, it's sigils. Those are the things that live forever, not writings and books. All of the religious books that exist right now, they will all disappear. There will come a time when none of it will exist. The best way to embed knowledge for eternity is through art, drawings, and through word, verbal knowledge, oral knowledge. That's how the ancient learned the wisdom. It was through oral tradition. Nothing was written down. Anything that's written down is going to disappear. And you think technology is going to protect it. Oh yes, for sure. Let's see what happens when electricity runs out by some natural catastrophe. So ancient hermeticists and alchemists and these masters who wanted to preserve this beautiful knowledge for us, they did their best to encode it into these beautiful cards. And they succeeded, because we're still using it nowadays, and millions of people watch tarot readings every day, and that's why it's helping you. That's why it resonates with you. And it's because this goes back to the origin of humanity, the origin of Earth. This is something that has survived since the beginning of time. This is serious. And that's why I keep telling you every time, tarot should not be used for trivial things. You shouldn't use tarot to know who you're going to hook up with, if your ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend is going to come back to you. You can't use tarot like that. And moreover, the universe allowed tarot to still exist. If it was not meant to exist nowadays, it would have been gone. But I'm going to give you a little history about when did it appear, tarot, as we know it. It first started in the 1400s in northern Italy, and it was known as tarocchi. When it appeared, it had the 22 trump cards, also known as major arcana, but they're known as the trump cards, and they're 22. And it is a mystery about who made these cards in Italy back in the 1400s, in medieval times. It is a mystery. It's not known. Who drew the major arcanas? How did the drawings came to be? It's a mystery, but it appeared. And usually things that appear without an author and without someone claiming that they have made them, usually those things are real. Because the people who made these kind of anonymous works, they're not looking for validation or credits from other people. They're doing it for the benefit of humanity. So they don't reveal their names. It's the same with the Kabbalion, which is based on the Hermetic philosophy. The Kabbalion is produced by 3 initiates, so it is unknown who are these initiates. But it is based on the Hermetic work, and the Hermetic work is just a mix of many texts. And these texts, no one really knows their true origin. But this is where you're going to find true wisdom and knowledge. So tarot is the same. So after it appeared in the 1400s in Italy, it spread to France in the 15th and 16th century. It became widespread in France. And in the late 1600s, for the first time, tarot was standardized with its 22 major arcanas in the tarot known as Le Tarot de Marseille, in the city of Marseille in France. And I have that tarot here with me. There were many editions that were produced. The tarot had medieval images and included alchemical symbols, because back then alchemy was thriving in Europe. So I have here Le Tarot de Marseille. This edition is from Jean-Pierre Laurent from 1735. It was printed in 1735. And it's one of the versions of Le Tarot de Marseille, because there were many versions. But it was the first standardized tarot that we know nowadays. It's like when you talk about Homo sapiens, they were the first humans that looked exactly like us nowadays. So Le Tarot de Marseille is the same for tarot. This was the first standard version with the 22 major arcanas. The imagery was different. It was medieval in nature, but it's very close to what everyone is using nowadays, if you're using a real tarot deck. So I got this one from Paris, from the Museum of Tarot in Paris, And I visited the Museum of Tarot in Paris, and it was incredible. It was phenomenal because they had all of the early editions of tarot. And I'm going to show you how this 1735 edition looks like, because they preserved the imagery exactly how it was back then. This is the magician, but in French it's called le battleur. And then we have the high priestess, la papesse. And then the empress, and then the emperor. And you can tell that the imagery was the Hierophant, the imagery was very medieval in nature. It was an ancient drawing style, and it looks like it's from the 1700s. This tarot deck, I have it, I cherish it a lot, I don't use it, I keep it in the order as how I opened it, because I want to have it always as a reference of the original tarot that was standardized, that was produced to the world, before even the Rider-Waite, way before. There are other editions as well that you can purchase from the 1600s. I picked this one from 1735 because it resonated with me, but there are editions from the early 1700s as well, or the late 1600s. And after Le Tarot de Marseille was standardized, fast forward to 18th, 19th century, is when for the first time some renowned occultists, and especially French occultists, because tarot was prominent in France, most of the occult was very prominent in France, and I do think that France, and especially Paris, is the capital of the occult in the whole world. So we have the renowned occultist Antoine Cour de Guesblen, who explored and exposed the 22 major arcanas and associated them to ancient Egypt. And then we have the prominent occultist Eliphas Levi, who associated tarot with Kabbalah, alchemy, and Hermeticism. And then we have, in 1889, Oswald Wirth, who redesigned Le Tarot de Marseille and made a new version of it, including esoteric symbols and imagery. All of these occultists and other occultists have books that they have written that you can read. They're available. You can purchase them and read them, that talk about their philosophies regarding tarot and how they connected tarot to Hermeticism, to ancient Egypt, to alchemy, to Kabbalah. And this information is accessible if you want to know more about it. So now that the tarot's meaning has become more prevalent and available to the masses, because prior to that it was hidden, especially from the church, now fast forward to the early 1900s with the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn that produced the first American tarot version, which is the Rider-Waite, in 1910. And then in 1944, Aleister Crowley produced his tarot deck, which is the Thoth deck, because Aleister Crowley was part of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, but then he separated from them. But these two decks, the Rider-Waite and the Thoth deck, used Le Tarot de Marseille as a foundation for their tarot decks. So this is the foundation of the Rider-Waite deck that is the most used deck in the world right now. And again, that's why I keep this with me untouched all the time, because it reminds me of the origin of tarot. And that's why I don't use it. So this is how tarot started in ancient Egypt, later on appeared in Europe, and then through France was exposed to the whole world. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn is an organization that delves into occult practices, alchemy, Hermeticism, Eastern traditions, and they have their own books, their own works, their own products. So this is how tarot have become accessible to the whole world. The reason why the Rider-Waite is the most popular deck and not other decks and not Le Tarot de Marseille is because of mass production, because Rider-Waite was produced in the United States in the era where the US was flourishing, mass production everywhere. It has beautiful imagery, it has vibrant colors, and that also helped many people around the world to adopt it. Because if you examine Le Tarot de Marseille, it is a little bit occult, it's not easily approachable. Some decks are very hard to approach because of the nature of their art, like the Hermetic Tarot deck, my favorite tarot deck. But Rider-Waite is easily approachable by anyone and everyone, and that's why it is also popular around the world. So there were many elements that contributed in making the Rider-Waite the most popular deck in the world. Just remember that it's not the first deck, and that foundation of that deck is Le Tarot de Marseille. So Tarot has 22 trump cards, but most people know them as major arcanas. And these cards are known to hold the secrets of initiation from ancient Egypt. If you go through these 21 steps, you are being initiated and you will uncover the secrets of the universe. I said 21 steps because the 22nd card, and that card is not supposed to have a number, it's the Fool card. The Rider-Waite added a number to it, which is 0. But let's check Le Tarot de Marseille. You will see that the Fool card does not have a number. This is the Fool card, and it's called Le Mat in French, Le Mat. Does it have a number? Do you see a number there? There's no number. So the Rider-Waite deck added the 0 to the Fool card because that card is not numbered. It doesn't have a number. Why? Because the Fool is supposed to go through 21 steps of initiation. Now I'm revealing with you initiative knowledge that most tarot readers don't know. Because, by the way, a lot of tarot readers just read some books that were produced 2 years ago and they start preaching tarot. They start doing tarot readings. And that's why I keep saying it over and over. If you don't understand major arcanas and if you haven't studied them, you will not know how to read tarot. And the many people who do so without studying the major arcanas, they're giving you empty readings. Their readings are just empty. They're meaningless. And of course, nowadays, there's a lot of decks who don't even have major arcanas, and there's oracle decks, and people are doing just whatever the heck they please. So don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Because if you're fooled, you're only fooling yourself. If you choose to listen to these people, you're fooling yourself, and only yourself. They're doing them, but you're fooling yourself. Yes, they, even though they don't have the knowledge of tarot, they're doing them. But you choose to listen to them, so you're fooling yourself. So the 21 major arcanas, excluding the Fool, represent steps of initiation that one has to go through in order to find the Philosopher's Stone. It is also a representation of the grand work of alchemy, those 21 steps. Alchemy, Hermeticism are intertwined and interconnected and embedded in tarot. All of that knowledge exists here. The knowledge of Hermeticism, the knowledge of alchemy. Otherwise, why do you think I do tarot readings? If it wasn't connected to alchemy or Hermeticism, I wouldn't read a single tarot reading. I wouldn't do tarot. You think I do tarot because it's fun? I do tarot because it will help you throughout your alchemical transformation. Because tarot embodies the knowledge of alchemy. And that's why it has alchemical symbols. Those 21 steps, they represent different phases of your journey. And they're not in order. It's not magician, high priestess, empress, emperor, hierophant, lovers, chariot, and so on and so forth. The numbers don't matter. Sometimes the Fool on his journey, he will be the hierophant. And other times he will encounter the devil. And some other times he will have justice. Some other times he will be the magician. Some other times he will not be the magician and he will have a tower moment. So you're experiencing these 21 phases of initiation before you can find out who you truly are. your high state, your golden version, your philosopher's stone. And there are some major arcanas in tarot that are scary, such as the almighty Tower card that scares everyone for no apparent reason. I'm telling you again, because someone wrote it in a book 2 years ago, someone who knows nothing about tarot, they're like, the Tower is negative, it's a bad thing, the Tower card. And then 90% of the tarot readers are going to tell you so, and only the few 10%, the ones who actually have studied the major arcanas, they will tell you, no, the Tower card is not a bad card. Let me show you this beautiful Tower card, the one that scares everyone. Oh, the Tower. Here, this is how it looks like in Le Tarot de Marseille. And by the way, the coloring and the depictions and the details in Le Tarot de Marseille is the most closest to the true meaning of each card. Each colors have meanings. The green has a meaning, the blue has a meaning, the red has a meaning. It's not just because they chose to do this because they just felt like it. Every detail matters. Every symbol that's on the card has a meaning. The number of the stars, the number of the dots, everything. Why certain things are colored red, why certain things are colored blue, that has a meaning as well. Because back in medieval times, they tried to preserve the knowledge as it was passed down. So the details could not be changed or mingled with, like nowadays. The details had to stay intact for the knowledge to be preserved. Otherwise, you change something here and there, and then the knowledge is lost. It's not there anymore. So this is the Tower card. People fear this card, and then people fear this other card that I'm going to show you here, which is the Devil card. People fear this card too. Oh, the devil, oh, Satan, and everyone starts including religion again. People love to connect religion or their own religion to anything else. Oh, the devil, it's Satan card. People get scared of this card too, and you shouldn't. And another card that people get scared of as well is death. Death, oh my God. It means you're gonna die. Death. No. Tarot was designed by masters of alchemy and hermeticism. And you know what is the rule of thumb for hermeticism and alchemy? Is to hide the knowledge in plain sight. Is to always have the meaning behind the meaning. You never show something for the sake of just showing what it is. Because when you see these cards, if you don't decode them, you're not going to understand the meaning. It's like alchemy. When you read alchemical recipes and alchemical texts from medieval times, you will not understand them unless you decode them. When you find the recipe for the philosopher's stone, it's always coded. You have to know how to decode it before you can understand the recipe and follow it. You will never find the recipe of the philosopher's stone just like that. It's going to be always coded in words and messages that you will not understand unless you decode it. Same thing for the major arcanas of tarot. If you don't decode them, you're not going to get them. You're going to get them as their meanings. Death, it means death. Oh, the devil, it means the devil. Tower card, it means the tower. Let's decode the Tower card, for example. The Tower card here, it looks like a tower and this person is falling from it. And the top of the tower is open, but it also represents a crown. That means you're sitting in your castle because the tower looks like a castle. It means you have everything. It means you're comfortable. You're wearing your crown because of the crown here. And all of a sudden, something happens in the universe that you need to get out of this tower. The meaning is that this tower was your jail. That you were actually in jail, not inside a castle. That castle was a beautiful jail. A proper jail that you decorated by yourself. And you make it look like a beautiful castle. But the truth of the matter is that it was your jail and you didn't know it, and you never knew it. Until the universe one day sends you something so traumatic, so dangerous, so scary, and so catastrophic that it exploded this tower from the top. Because you were at the top, not at the bottom. You were at the top of your tower. You were at the top of the world. You think you're incredible. Your arrogance makes you believe that you are it, that you're the god of the world. And then the universe hits you and tells you you're not, because you know nothing, because your bubble, this tower is your bubble. What you think you know is just something you preconceived for yourself inside your bubble, inside your jail that you decorated so immaculately, so perfectly to make yourself feel good. So that tower explodes from the top. It opens. The universe forces it to open, because you can't open this tower. It's too heavy for you. You're just a human being. So something hits it. You see this? This is a thunder. It's nature. Nature is spirit. It's something catastrophic that comes from the unknown, from nature. Something you cannot control. You have no control over. And this thunder here, this natural event that comes from spirit that you can't control, hits the top of the tower and it opens it. It explodes it. In some other depictions, in some other tarots, the tower looks exploded. Here it looks like it's opened. So it's not even an explosion. The tower is opened through this natural thing that you can't control. This could be an event in your life. Something happens in your life that you can't control. Death, traumatic experience, you losing your job, you losing your best friends, your family member, it could be anything. And that makes you jump from the tower. And it looks like you don't have a choice, because this tower, you cannot stay inside of it anymore. And that's why you jump. Because now the tower is opened. It can't protect you from the rain. It can't protect you from the cold. Nature, spirit, made it so that the tower doesn't have the top. So your crown is removed. That's another metaphor. That crown you were wearing, spirit is removing it from you. It's telling you you're not wearing any crown, because it's time for you to die. Death. Ooh. Why it's time for you to die? So you can be reborn. So you jump out of this tower because you're killing your old self. You're liberating yourself from this jail. But who caused this liberation? It's spirit. It's the unknown. It's something you can't control. And that's how transformation happens in life, especially for the people who are willing to walk on a transformational journey. When you're ready, the universe hits you so you can get out of the jail you have built for yourself. So you can get out from the tower you have built for yourself. And when you get out of the tower, you fall. And it doesn't feel good, and you crash at the bottom. But that's the only way for you to transform. Your crown is removed and you fall to the bottom. And you start again as a new person. But when you fall at the bottom, you are like this. You're like a skeleton. You have nothing. Even your skin is not there anymore. Even your organs are not there anymore. It's just a skeleton. You barely have any muscle or any meat. It's just the bones. So after you fall off the tower, this is how you become. You lost everything, that jail that you built for yourself, your crown, your wealth, everything that you thought made you the king or the god or the queen. Because before you can start your alchemical journey that's gonna make you realize who you truly are, you have to start from bones, from skeleton at first. So this skeleton, if you notice, he is walking on a black land, and the black land is the name of ancient Egypt, which is Chem or Kemet. It means the black land. It means the origin of knowledge of alchemy, which is ancient Egypt. And then there's these yellow leaves and plants, and there's also bones, hands, feet, and remnants, parts of the body, and plants. It means you lost everything that wasn't you anymore. The limbs that used to make you who you are, they're not you. They're not you anymore, so you're losing them. You're losing your old parts, parts of your body. Here it's depicted as parts of your body, but it's parts of you that made you who you are. And they're so important that they're here depicted as limbs, because your limbs are important, your hands, your feet. So you're going to lose some aspects in your life that are so important to you, as if you're losing your hands or feet. And you're going to be walking on this fertile black land, the ancient Egyptian land, where you're going to seek knowledge, new knowledge that's going to make you who you are. And as you notice here, this figure that's just made barely of skeletons have only one weapon. And this weapon, the only thing that does, it cuts. It's like a reaper. So why is this figure having this weapon and only this weapon and nothing else? It's so it can cut anything on its way that doesn't serve him. So when you fall and you're at the bottom, you're hitting rock bottom, and you lost everything that is dear to you for the sake of your own transformation, and you're barely standing like a skeleton, this is a representation of how tough transformation is. It's not for the faint of heart. It's a challenging process. It's a very rough journey that one has to go through. So you're going to have challenges, difficulties, but you're given one weapon to cut anything that's not supposed to be in your life. All the bad habits, bad behaviors, toxic things that hold you back, toxic people that hold you back, you're supposed to cut them with this weapon. That's the only thing you're equipped with. Not food, but something that can cut from your life the things that don't represent you. Because you cannot become who you are unless you remove anything that doesn't represent you. It has to go away. Then you can start transforming and becoming who you are. So each major arcana has a deep meaning that one can learn from. And these are not scary cards. The Death card, the Tower card, they're not scary cards. Each major arcana, each trump card has a deep meaning, and you can learn from it on its own. So that's how I want you to look at major arcanas. And it's probably the reason why you're so drawn to tarot without even knowing it, because it holds deep wisdom and knowledge from alchemy, from hermeticism, from initiative wisdom and practices that dates back to ancient Egypt, to Atlantis, and it's embedded in these cards. Sometimes we love something subconsciously because we don't know why we are drawn to something. But I'm here to tell you this is probably the reason why. It's because you need to learn this knowledge. It's part of your journey. It's going to help you transform. It's going to help you become who you truly are and reach your philosopher's stone. Because that's what I did along my early journey. I did intense research on the major arcanas alone, and on tarot, and the origin of tarot, and the meaning of each major arcana. And I was fascinated by this knowledge. I was fascinated, and I felt so lucky that I was able to have access to this knowledge in this day and age. And that's why I love tarot. And that's why tarot helped me become who I am today, Sef Alchemist. And it can help you become who you are. It's not something just for divination. There are always going to be people who are just going to use it for fun, for divination. But I'm talking to the very few of you who are serious, who are wanting to use this as a tool of transformation. So please, if you choose to use tarot, if you decide to use it as a tool, please use it with respect. I shared with you some of the origins of tarot and that it's a precious tool. Don't use it as a game. This is not a game, because it has the potential to help you along your beautiful journey. Okay, so this is what I have. I just wanted to share this information with you, but I'm also curious to know about your journey with tarot. Let me know in the comment section, why do you watch tarot readings? Why are you drawn to tarot? Are you drawn to tarot just for the fun of it, because you think it's fun, or because you think it has the potential to help you transform? What do you think about the major arcanas? Have you ever studied them? Have you ever researched them? Do you know the true meanings that they hold? Did you know that they hold initiative knowledge from ancient Egypt? Let me know in the comment section. Share that with me. I'm curious to know your opinion about the subject. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video. Azmuch jiren leres shich sarok illeren saloch irresh mogazen in soch ja